So this video is going to show you how to create 9-0, which is rod guide. And this is a decimal drawing, so you can use a standard IPT file when you're creating this part. So you can see I already have part of this drawn. Now this is not the entire shape, this is just the base of the shape. So before I began and started actually creating my 2D sketch, I went ahead and selected all of these shapes, or sorry, not the shapes, all of the planes and the center points. And then I turned on the visibility. That was allowing me to be able to see everything a little bit easier. So you want to do that. And then you can, in order to create this shape, go to 3D model and just click on Start 2D Sketch. And you're going to click on the XY plane. And I'm going to show you guys now how this sketch looked like before I actually created it. So you can either draw this way by doing the top view, or you can hit the home and draw your shape in this manner too. So you can see my dimensions, overall width of 2, length of 3. You can see that I dimensioned from the center point over is 1.5. Same thing from the edge here is going to be 1. The circles I drew after I did my fillets. I did all my fillets first, and I made those as 0.25. And after I made all the fillets, I then had a center point that I could use to select for my circles. And all the circles are 2.5. So hopefully you guys would understand that the distance from the center point to the edge would be 2.5 as well. Same thing here. So go ahead and get this drawn and dimension, and then you can go ahead and hit finish. Once you have the shape drawn, hit finish sketch, then you'll be able to extrude. So I'm just going to double click so you can see the extrusion. I just went in the first direction and changed that offset distance from my extent up to 0.75, and then I was able to get this shape. And once you have this shape, we can then go ahead and start creating our next shape, which is a little bit different than what we've done. So we're first going to go to the View tab and change our visual style to wireframe, which we've done before. And then what we're going to do is start creating another plane. So right now we've got 3 planes. We're just going to add a diagonal plane going through this drawing so we can create a sketch on that. So I'm going to go back to 3D model, and I can select plane, or I could have done, I just could have right-clicked and then selected plane as well. So I'm not going to just start picking points. What I'm going to do is actually select over here, although I could do the same thing on the drawing itself. But what I'm going to do is, because it's really expecting me to select some geometry to create a plane from, I'm going to do the XY plane, and I'm going to do the Y-axis. And once I do that, I can then type in an angle degree that I want to create this plane about. So I'm going to do 30 degrees. Hit the check mark, and we now have a plane that's going diagonally through our drawing. So once I have the plane drawn, I can go ahead and do Start 2D Sketch, and can either select the plane here or select the work plane here. And so it's going to rotate it for me. I actually want to go back to the home view, so I'm just going to hit the home button. And then what I'm going to do is something called Project Geometry. So I'm going to go make sure I'm in the Sketch tab, and then click on Project Geometry. And I'm going to click the back edge of this shape. And it's actually going to then project a line onto this angled surface right here. So now I'm going to use this line that we just projected, and I'm going to pick a point. Don't pick the end point, or else that's going to constrain it, but just pick a point on this line, and that's going to be able to allow us to have kind of a projection point, so we know where this line is actually creating at. So it's being projected from this back edge, and it's on the correct plane. So I'm going to make this 1.5. And then it's kind of confusing with all the planes that we have right now. So why don't we go ahead and the XY plane and the YZ plane, why don't we go ahead and just hide those. So I'm just going to do Control and select both of those at once and turn off the visibility. And that's going to allow us to see this a little bit easier, and we can always turn that back on. So before you move any further, it's really important to center this line. So what I'm going to do is click Dimension and select the endpoint here and the origin here. And then I'm just going to type in 0.75, which is half of 1.5. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a shape. So it doesn't really matter the exact dimensions. Very important though, you can do it now, it's saying it's 0 degrees. Make sure that all of your lines are either at 0 or 90 degrees. Very, very important that these are straight. So I paused the video so you could see how the shape is going to look. So you can see right now all the dimensions that I've added. So go ahead and make sure that your shape is like this, and then we're going to do a couple more things to finish up this shape. I'm going to select circle, Make sure it's a center point circle. Or actually, let's try to do arc. So we're going to do, instead of 3-point arc, let's do center point arc, and I'm going to select the center, and then select an edge, and then I can just move my cursor and select this opposite edge. Now it's going to give me an arc, so there's no trimming involved. Now I'm going to do a circle. So I'll make this circle have a diameter of 0.75, and then I'll need to delete this line right here. I can hit finish sketch. I know that it's not constrained anymore, it's because I deleted that line. But now what I can do after I hit finish the sketch is go ahead and extrude. And I'm going to extrude this distance 1, but I'm going to do a symmetrical. So it's extruding 0.5 forward and back. Hit OK. And now we can go ahead and let's turn on these planes again, just in case we need those a little bit later on. I'm going to turn on the visibility. And I'm going to switch the view now to shade it with edges so you guys can see how this shape really looks. So pretty cool what you guys just did and how we created this shape at an angle because of this work plane that we use. So we need to create one more work plane, so just go to 3D model and click on plane, or again right click, and we need to select the top of this view. So I'm going to click on this, and don't be alarmed if you see a shape like this. So just make sure that you select the top plane, and then click on that plane and just drag up, and then you can let go of your mouse and type in 0.25. Actually, let's make this a little bit easier for us. We'll do it 0.75. You hit the check mark, and so now we offset up from this plane up 0.75. So now it's actually going to be going through this circle. So I can do start to do sketch and click on this plane, or select work plane. Now what I'm going to do is create a circle, and I'm going to use the center point right here, and I'm going to make this a fairly small circle. I'm going to make it 0.25. And then we can't see it right now, but I'm going to hit finish sketch, and we can see it just a little bit back here. And I'm going to now do an extrusion, and I'm going to select and change it to cut, and change the direction to 2. And then I'm going to do through all. So let me make sure that all this starts. So cut, change the direction, and then through all. Now you hit the check mark, and now our shape is done. So let's go ahead and hide all of this stuff so we can see everything a little bit easier, which is our 3D. And so these two planes, if we want to hide those as well, just right click and turn off the visibility for those as well. So here's our shape. Not too complex, just a little bit different with adding the work planes. Hopefully you can think about maybe when you could have used these in the past, or when you could possibly use them in future drawings if you've looked at those. So when we're placing this on the sheet, it's going to be a little bit different than what we've done before. So you need to be very careful about not following these next few directions because you think you know what you're doing. So this is going to be called Rod Guide. The same settings that you guys have been doing for the sheet is going to be the same. Here's where it's going to be a little bit different. When I hit on base, I don't want to do front. I'm going to do top. And the reason I'm going to do top is because this is the only view that I'm actually going to use of the 3 views that I typically create for a multi-view drawing. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to create it automatically for me. And now I can just hit escape, and then I'm going to select auxiliary. And what I'm going to be doing is creating an auxiliary drawing from this shape. So I'm going to select this view in order to know, or for Inventor to know which view I'm using to create an auxiliary view from. And you guys are going to see what that does. So I'm going to name this as A. The scale is going to be 1 to 1. I'm going to click on this face right here and pull this out. This is the only true view that I could have of my shape. So I'm going to pull this out to right here and create that. So I might need to possibly move some of my drawings over and kind of adjust this. I'd rather you try not to make this any smaller than 1 to 1. I am going to do another base view, so I just did right click. I'm going to do the ISO top. I'm going to make this shaded, and let's make this 3/4. And I'm going to place this right here. And then I can hit escape. I'm not going to add a right side view, and obviously this isn't even a true front view. Let me show you how the front view would look if you guys were curious. So here's our front view. So this is not going to be showing the true face of this object like we see right here. So Here now we've got to get the top view, the auxiliary view, and the isometric. So go ahead and add center lines and dimensions and then upload this as